Welcome back to Townsquare Sunday. I'm Jim Phillips. My next guest is someone who's, I think he's pretty well known in New Bedford. I think he's very well known in downtown New Bedford. Coming up next Thursday, July 20th, there's another 50's night in downtown New Bedford. This event, over the last few years, maybe even further back than that, has taken off. There's no other way to describe it. I know nostalgia is big, but I never thought it was going to be quite this big. It really is big. The creator of the 50's night is retired businessman Joe Jesus, who operated the Peanut Store in downtown New Bedford for how many years, Joe?
I had the Peanut Shop from the 80s. I also had Joe Nan's, a restaurant upstairs. My wife had a clothing store there also.
Joe Nan's.
Joe Nan's.
We're going to talk about that in a minute.
All right.
Because that has a special place in the history of WBSM. It's no secret older folks love to attend the 50's night. It's like Thursday night downtown when they were growing up. That's kind of the whole premise, isn't it, Joe?
That's just what it was all about. And, you know, the funny thing about it, we're in Florida, and we went down to Old Town. I was going to buy a condo at Boca West. Boca was just building up, and we ended up going into Old Town. And this is where I saw all of these cars all lined up in a big merry-go-round in the middle of the street. Totally unbelievable.
Classic cars.
All classic cars, yes. And when we come up here, that's when I decided, you know, that would really, really be great. And it started out from Purchase Street in Union, and it went to Elm Street. And that was it. We had a band on the steps of Bank Boston at the time, and a band at... well, we normally have it between the Star Store and NBIS.
When was that, Joe?
That was 1990. And, you know, it just got bigger and bigger. And now we do no advertising. I do an advertising yesterday, and I'll do one next Tuesday. But we keep this so very, very family-oriented. There's no booze, no, you know. And the main thing on this, and I think why it's so popular, Jim, you're going to see people not from high school, not from grammar school. You're going to see them from the neighborhood. 2 years ago, I met a girl that I hadn't seen. The last time I seen her, I was a teenager. And she come around the corner, Junior Jesus. That was 60 years ago. And it was so totally unreal. And you know, you want to get something going, you get into a group and you start reminiscing, and everything comes out. One thing we never talked about on the 50's was back then, all the cars had bumpers. So when you didn't start your car, somebody would go behind you, match up your bumpers. You put it in second because, again, 90% of the cars were standard shift. So, and another thing, very, very, very few women or girls were driving. It was all guys. And it'd match up the bumpers, and, you know, you'd shine up your cars. Thursday night was the big night downtown. So you'd shine up your cars and you polish your white walls, and, you know, there you'd go. And now my car that I have now, both of my cars, I wanted to get white walls on them, but I wanted a porta wall, excuse me. I wanted a porta wall, so I went down a rolling tire. And I says, can you guys get me some porta walls? And the guy says, what is a porta wall? A porta wall is a 1 or a 2 inch white wall that sticks between your rim and your tire of your car. And it's a white wall, but it's only an inch or two, depending what you want. But, you know, we laugh at it because this was such a common thing back then that, you know, you'd go by downtown Thursday night, I mean, up Union Street, down Pleasant, and back down Purchase.
I want to say that Thursday nights downtown it was also big in the 60's. It kind of faded after that, though, I think. But clearly the 50's, 40's, 50's, that was a great time for downtown New Bedford. And Thursday night, the stores were all open.
Everything was open.
Everything was open.
See, what took place back then, Jim, in the 40's and 50's, the downtown was Thursday night and everybody went downtown. And you know another incredible thing about going downtown? Anytime you went downtown, you were dressed up. You were dressed up when you went downtown.
That's true.
But Friday nights was the north end and the south end. Mm-hmm. The stores up north and the stores down on Water Street. We're open on Friday nights.
All right, the classic cars, big attraction classic cars.
Yes.
There are now dozens of classic cars.
Yes.
Not only along Purchase, but also...
Well, we have them on Union,
yeah.
Purchase, Acushnet Avenue, North 2nd, South 2nd. We have them all the way down to Johnny Cake Hill.
Where do these cars come from, Joe?
Phil, you can't believe it. I'm getting calls. I'm getting calls from the Boston area, from Randolph, from Brockton, from Newport, Rhode Island, from Providence, Rhode Island. And we're not doing any advertising. But what is taking place when they go, different guys go to different shows, they'll bring a flyer. Don't forget to come down to this place. And I just give the flyers to the car guys and their friends and stuff like that. But it's just totally unbelievable what it's all about.
All right, in addition to the cars, live entertainment as well. Some
Every
guy
corner.
named Taylor Cormier is going to be there singing.
Taylor, I was going to move Taylor into Wings Court, and everybody, hey, we want Taylor Cormier over here. We want to keep moving. So Taylor's got his own spot on South 2nd and Union Street.
All right, very good.
And we have a band. When you come down, we have a DJ on Union and Pleasant. We have a band on Purchase Street, Absolute. We have another band by Wings Court on Purchase Street, Jazzy Lady. Then we have another DJ, Bobby Bramwell, on Acushnet Avenue. Then we have Taylor on South 2nd. And in Custom House Square, we have Eddie Fonseca. And I'll tell you, totally unbelievable. These guys here, when they come out, Jim, they're incredible. Last year they come out, white suits, red ties, red and white shoes. These guys were so incredible. I'll tell you, they were showing themselves. But they all do a great job, and I only ask one thing. You play 40s, 50s, and 60s music. Nothing more than the 60s. So.
All right. All right, you're listening to Townsquare Sunday. My guest is Joe Jesus. He's the creator of the 50s night in downtown New Bedford, first one in 1990, still going strong every year. You're never afraid to try new things, Joe. We remember that from the 1970s when you had a club on the upper floor of that Purchase Street building.
Yeah.
Was it Jane Ann's?
Joan Ann's.
Joan Ann's.
Yeah, yeah.
And you used to have a Sunday morning brunch there.
I did.
And we had a
WBSM
radio
was
program
there, that's right.
out of there. And my good friend Dave DeRocher.
Dave, that's right. Cousin Dave, that's right.
Dave DeRocher was performing there, and he could do his best Taylor Cormier impersonation.
Boy,
sometimes.
I tell you, he was a hot
sing.
ticket, wasn't he?
Yeah, he could really sing, and he was a funny guy on the air, and
But
it was fun to work with him.
Yeah, with cars, Jim, I go back to 65 when I was with Ashley Ford.
Yeah.
The Mustang came out, and we had drag racing. It was totally illegal. And I got together with the mayor, George Rogers, and the city council. We had drag racing up the North End. So we had the Mustang Club, a sports car club.
The mayor and the council gave their blessing to that?
Yeah, they did.
You're pretty lucky.
Yeah.
That doesn't always happen. 50s night is it a fundraiser of sorts?
We do, yeah.
Tell us about it.
We do, yeah. What we do every year, Salvation Army will come in, a Mercy Meals will come in, a Neediest Family Fund will come in, and they'll have all of their buckets. And whatever monies they collect is theirs. I think this year Mercy Meals wants to do popcorn. Fine, that's no problem. You can do popcorn. I don't keep her next to Kettle Corn. They're like 2 blocks away because I don't want them to interfere with one another. And whatever monies we collect from the cars, all that money is donated to the organizations. And I have to thank Bobby Bancroft from Ashley Ford, Bobby Burgess from Kia, Kenny from Joe's Auto. These guys, and Joe Costello, these guys pay for all the entertainment. Kenny from Joe's Auto on Bevel Avenue, he pays the Standard Times for the ad. This year I'm trying to get money for the police. We had someone last year, and unfortunately couldn't afford it this year. So I'm looking now to get some money so we can't pay the police department. That's usually $1,000, $1,200.
Yeah, that's
I did
private
that
details for the police department.
Yeah, I did. I paid it 2 years ago because, you know, we didn't have a sponsor. So last year we had a sponsor. So if I have to pay it again, I pay it again. But it is just such a great event. And the big thing about the event, and I love to do, is take pictures of families and the kids. I'm hoping that Out and About will come out this year. Maybe do 1 or 2 cars, but it's, you know, it's really about families.
Well, you know, I have to tell you, if you've got small kids and you bring them to the 50's night in downtown New Bedford on Thursday, July 20th, they will probably say, "What is this? What? This is like Back to the Future."
Well, you know, years ago, we had the little train from the park, from the zoo. They would come down, but then again, they were afraid if something was to happen to its home, you know, would get somebody to pay for damages. But they were concerned it wasn't the idea of the thing breaking down and somebody paying for it. It was how long it might be out of commission. So the kids at the park couldn't use it. And I could understand that. So we don't use the train anymore, but it's a lot of fun.
What is it about the 50's night that gives you the biggest kick, Joe?
I think the biggest thing is because people are all reminiscing of how it was. You know, back then we had no credit cards. We had payphones that you put a dime in. Everybody was just as considerate and loving as they possibly could be. Your word was your bond. There was no such thing as signing a contract for this or signing a contract. This is what you said, this is what you did. And if you couldn't do it, you were man enough or woman enough to go tell a person why you couldn't do it. And 99% of the time, they'd accept what you were saying because it came from your heart. And today, I think this is what we lack today, is morals and understanding and love and, you know, paying it forward. You take guys like I had Manny Lima on the show today, and Jerry Pinto, and Buddy Andrade, and Eddie Johnson, Joe Costello. You know the work that these guys do? People don't realize the work they do. Joe Costello with Easter Seals.
Sure, Costello.
The hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I brought man, yeah. Nobody hears from them. And you know what? That's what it's about. When you do something, don't look for recognition. If you're going to do it for recognition, stay home. We don't need you. Deal from your heart. If somebody is in need, give them what they need. But that's, well, you know, that's all. I'm still back in the 50s, so.
You got a funny story about 50's night, Joe?
Well, I got a lot of funny stories about 50's night.
Maybe funny, maybe you won't be able to tell over the air.
No, I can't. No, it's just that, you know, it's the biggest thrill of my life. And only because you see so many people that are really together, that are so happy, that are reminiscing, and it's just, and the people, the vendors I have, Jim, I don't ask them for a dime. I tell every vendor that comes in, the question to me is, well, how much is it? And this is what I tell them. I just told one an hour ago. You come in, if you have a good night, you give us a good deposit, a donation. If you have a bad night, give us. But I feel I do this so people deal out of their heart. You want to tuck it to me? Okay, give me a small donation. But when I find out, you're never coming back again. So, but I find that only one person has ever done that to me, made a tremendous amount, and I only found out because we were in a restaurant one time and he was bragging how much money he made. And the donation he gave me, you know, just wasn't in that ballpark.
Yeah.
So he never came back again and never will. But people deal. I think people deal from their heart. And if you ask somebody for something, they'll do it. 90% of them will do it, I believe.
50's night, downtown New Bedford, July 20th. What time do folks start coming by?
Well, the event is supposed to be from 5 to 9. Cars start coming in 12:30, 1 o'clock. Cars will start coming in. So we start parking, but we'll start getting the event together, usually about 8 o'clock in the morning, set up where the stages are going to be. where the barrels are going to be.
Yeah.
You know, whatever we have to block off, where the power is going to be. So we set it all up.
All right, you really start parking cars pretty early.
Yeah, 12:30.
You couldn't do that if it was a mall was if we had the walking mall.
No,
Remember that?
I do remember that. And you know what was funny about that, Jim?
What?
We lost all of those parking places. And
Yeah.
if you remember, in front of Salt Marsh, they had that big spray machine or whatever the heck it was. And on a windy day, everybody got soaking wet because the water was flying all over the place.
That was, boy, that was a. I know it was a very tough time for malls. I don't know if you remember that, but shopping malls were becoming in vogue.
Yeah.
And the city wanted to do something to keep people in downtown New Bedford, so they created this walking mall on Purchase Street.
Yeah.
In essence, closing off traffic on Purchase Street. You couldn't drive on Purchase.
Yeah.
You could walk.
That's right.
But you couldn't drive. And that
that
didn't work quite as well as I think they hoped.
No, well, that's what happened. Well, the mall in Dartmouth started in 71, I believe,
Yeah.
71, 72. And I think downtown wanted to compete. But the only difference between the mall is you walk into the mall and now you're undercover. So if it was raining and snowing, it didn't make any difference. But when you went downtown, every store you wanted to go to, you had to go outside. But they tried, and you got to give them credit for trying.
My guest has been Joe Jesus, the creator of 50's Night in downtown New Bedford. It is Thursday, July 20th. Joe, have a great time. Thanks for coming.
I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
My guest has been Joe Jesus, and that's it for this week's edition of Townsquare Sunday. Thanks for tuning in. Also, a special thanks to production director Jason Kent and digital producer Casey Sylvia to helping get this program on the air and on the website. You can visit WBSM.com and click on Townsquare Sunday. In the What's Hot section near the top of the page, you'll see all our recent interviews listed there, ready to be listened to on demand. We'll be back next Sunday morning with another edition of Townsquare Sunday. Till then, have a great week and a terrific Sunday.